Hey guys, so my name is Frank, and I'm a Prison Scholar Fund graduate or student, I guess you can say. So my Prison Scholar Fund experience started when I was incarcerated, now almost 9 years ago, um, for an accident that had happened. And so my feelings at the time, I was feeling very out of place. I had never been to jail before, never been to prison before. And inside the prison, it does have some programs that they do offer, but those programs are usually pretty temporary. You graduate and move on, or you move to a different yard, and that program might not be available. And honestly, I mean, bettering yourself is a desire that you have to make on your own. The environment that you're placed in can cultivate that desire. It can allow it to grow. It can feed it. It can nurture it. It can give it a chance. For example, a seed planted in soft, nutrient, moist soil has a far better chance of growing bigger and stronger than a seed that is planted in dry, waterless sand. So that's what we have out here in Arizona, where I'm from, anyway. Um, So the Prison Scholar Fund, when I became incarcerated, all I had known in my past was a life of rules and a life of structure, and I liked that. And going into prison, the rules and the structure changed, the environment changed, the people changed. Um, so I wanted to connect to my past. I wanted to connect to the streets, what I was familiar with, and for me, that meant going back to school. So I contacted my mom and I was like, look, Mom, I want to get back into school. I have 20 college credits at that time from a community college that I was attending. And I was like, will you help me? And she was like, of course. And we started looking at schools, and Rio Salado was the school that we narrowed down. Through Rio Salado, they have an excellent incarcerated reentry program specifically for inmates across the United States. Great, very positive, 100% sold and convinced on uh, that program. Thank you very much. Through that program, they receive scholarship money and applications, and they receive the ability to scholarship people through now what I understand is the Prison Scholar Fund. And I had always seen Dirk's name on my Rio Salado stuff. I always just figured I really didn't know the level of connection between Dirk and Rio Salado and what was happening with my tuition, because my mom was very helpful for me, and she went to Rio Salado here in Tempe, Arizona, one of the campuses, and she met with the incarcerated reentry counselor, and she paid for my first two classes, $500. The material got sent to me. I did good, and when I did good, they said, okay, well, because we see you're serious, this scholarship money is available. Well, I want to say about 12 classes later, and what would have saved me thousands of dollars, I got my associate's degree after like being incarcerated for 3 years. And Rio Salado does offer some credits towards a bachelor's, but at the time I opted not to continue that. Um, and then eventually I got out. And now that I'm out, I applied to go back into school to finish my bachelor's. Um, I applied at a couple different schools here. One of the schools contacted me and they're like, okay, we've seen the grades that you represent the Rio Salado, and we're able to scholarship you this amount of money. And thankfully, there's grants and stuff out there that help post-released post-released prisoners as well, like the Pell Grant and stuff. Very awesome of them to do that. All of that helped me in being able to get into a private university out here, which is, definitely more expensive than just a regular university. And a lot of that has to do with the structure and the discipline that I applied to myself being under the Prison Scholar program, because really studying is up to you. In out here, what I used to do when when I was a good student growing up, and there was a small transition phase where I wasn't that good of a student, and I kind of try to cut corners and try to reap grades off of others. And you can take that to mean what it means, but I was not fair. I did not try to go about things the right way. I'm not going to sit that way, but not proud of it, but that's what it was. So the prison scholar fund, when I went to prison, there's nobody to copy answers off of. There's nobody to really even uh, assist you in tutoring. I was able to find, there's some inmates are very smart and they continue their education, and thankfully for a couple classes that I really needed it for, like math, I was able to have a good friend of mine in there that was able to tutor me in math. Had his tutorship not been available, could I have gone to maybe one of the education wings and found some help there? Probably. But it's just difficult in prison. It's difficult because there's gates, there's doors, there's times when you can move and times when you can't move. Um, you get switched to yards. So when I was in Rio Salado, I got 3 months to complete this course, and then I get moved a month and a half in, and that delays my whole progress. So there's a bunch of challenges. All those challenges forged me into who I am today, though, and the path that I'm now pursuing to finish my education, to get a good job, to be a productive member of society, and to use the time that I had in prison as something positive towards my future. And I think a lot of inmates would like to do that. Excuse me. Especially now that a lot of people are getting locked up not because they're career criminals, but they're getting locked up for crimes um, that are very easy to commit, in poor judgment. And those people, they don't want to be a career criminal. They don't want to spend life in prison. They want to get out and they want to do right and they want to do good. And the Prison Scholar Fund helps you to stay on that path while you're in, continue your education. And as well as anyone who changes their mind in there who might have come from a criminal background, they also have the opportunity to prove themselves um, by applying for an application and just seeing what happens. And if they do good in the class, then the Prison Scholar Fund continues to scholarship them. That's what happened with me. I did good in my first two classes, and without any resistance whatsoever, I was scholarshiped for my next 12 classes. And for anyone who's taken college before, that's 12 times an average of 3. So that's, how many credits did I get in there? I finished with 69 credits. I went into Prison Scholar Fund, I think, with like 20 something credits. So I actually took a little bit more. I think I finished with like 40 credits. Um, you know how much that can cost. And it cost me nothing. And I'm very thankful for that. And now the money that I saved there can be applied to my schooling out here to finish my bachelor's. Um, so that's what Prison Scholar Fund did for me, and that's what I would like to see it do for other people. If you're not fully convinced that there are inmates out there that desire this, I would tell you that when I was in there, when I first went in, I was very scared to the fact that what is prison going to be like? Is it going to be like the movies? Am I going to have to fight for my food? And by all means, especially nowadays, for the most part, most places you go, it is not like that. I would say 9 out of 10 people are trying to do their time and get out. And the sad thing is, there's not a lot to fill your time with in there. Television, working out, and playing cards. That's the majority of stuff. But when I had the Prison Scholar Fund under my belt while I was in there, it gave me something positive to look forward to every day. It made me use my mind. It made me use my it made me be creative and intuitive, and also practice character traits, like I said, because you'll get moved, and uh, you have to keep your cool, and you can't really worry about the things you can't control, and you just have to speak the truth and represent the truth and tell your teachers what happened and be upfront and honest with them. But it all starts from you keeping your cool, because if you don't keep your cool and you don't apply disciplined character traits into play, you'll get frustrated easily and just give up. So it taught me not to give up. It taught me to pursue on, especially because I had to study everything myself. Somebody who was coming from an environment where I kind of cut corners and just kind of like did what I had to do to get by. Now I had to be extra disciplined. I had to read every word of the book. I had to review. I had to write down. I had to memorize. And Prison Scholar Fund gave me the opportunity to do that. And at the end of the day, it felt good. It felt good to apply myself to a good cause. And now that I'm out, it feels good to take that application from when I was in and continue to apply it to my future. And there's plenty of opportunity out here, especially nowadays. You know, a lot of companies are trying to represent, you know, an understanding nature, an understanding spirit, an understanding cause. And there's job opportunities out there available for inmates. They just need something to hold on to while they're in there, those who are willing. Of course, there are going to be those that aren't. But Prison Scholar Fund, excuse me, they're very accurate in the people that they choose to send the money to. Like I told you, I had to continue to do good to continue to get scholarshiped. And because I continued to do good, I got scholarshiped. Had I not continued to do good, the scholarship money would have been pulled back from me had I not been serious. So they look for the serious ones. They look where the money can be best applied to. And ultimately, by investing into prisoners that are going to get out one day, you're investing into the people that are going to be in your workplace, your neighborhoods, your society. You know, these people are getting out. I was getting out. I was going back home. I was going somewhere. And what was I going to do with my life? And Prison Scholar Fund helped me to have some positive structure and programming and schooling while I was in there that I can definitely apply while I'm out now. So, I think that's it. I have covered the main points. What has Prison Scholarship Fund done for me? It gave me peace. It gave me practice. It gave me hope, especially in the beginning of my stay where I really needed it. And it continued to give me hope throughout my entire prison stay. And I know my fellow prisoners that are still in there, that the ones who are part of this program, I know it's continuing to give them hope. So I would just pray and I would just ask. What would I pray and ask? Pray and ask for your support and for your understanding that there are people within the prison system, probably the majority of which are looking for hope. The majority are looking for hope. And Prison Scholar Fund is one of the places that they can find it. So thank you very much to anyone and everyone who is feeling the calling of this mission, of this cause that Dirk and his team have been pursuing on their own for a very long time now. I'm a definite supporter of it. I am a post-student of it, and my education that I'm continuing right now has its foundation and has its roots in the Prison Scholar Fund. So I thank you, and just hope that you can contribute to the Prison Scholar Fund as well. Thank you very much.